Equal rights for all, everywhere. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation, all are but one nation. Oh, let us unite as one. Tell me what you know about love. Tell me what you know about hate that keeps us separated. Tell me what you think about equal rights for all in every way. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation? We all are but one nation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite as one. Oh, love. So many can testify. Love, oh, love. But you still can't satisfy. Keep on praying. You wish that day would come when there'll be equal rights and justice for every man.
Good morning to everyone out there in Radioland. This morning you have with you the host, Superintendent Diana Mills, hosting for the first time on this program. And we have with us no stranger to this program, nor is he a stranger to you out there in Radioland, none other than Superintendent Cromwell Henry. And we're here this morning to discuss the topic of larceny. Larceny really means stealing. That's another name for stealing. A person steals who, without the consent of the owner, fraudulently and without a claim of right, made in good faith, takes and carries away anything capable of being stolen with intent at the time of such taking permanently to deprive the owner thereof. And so we are here to deal with this topic because this matter has been one that in recent time has been plaguing us as an organization. We have managed to get the numbers down, the figures down in relation to other matters, but this particular matter we continue to have too much of it, we would say. And there are ways to prevent it, and so that is why we are here this morning, to deal with it and to show you ways that you can prevent it. But before I go into that, into inviting Superintendent Henry, I will just read to you a short statement from the police in relation to a troubling matter which occurred over the weekend past. This matter, it's the investigation launched into an incident involving a police officer. On Friday, March 4th, 2022, there was an incident in the Bastia area involving a police officer and civilians. Following the incident, several videos circulated on social media showing parts of what occurred. The High Command of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force understands that the images appear troubling to the members of the public. We too are deeply concerned by what we saw. We want to assure you, the public, that this matter will be looked into thoroughly, as an investigation has already been launched. We are treating this matter with the urgency and importance that it deserves. And this is the end of that short statement by the Police High Command in relation to that particular matter. At this time, I welcome Superintendent Henry. Superintendent Henry, welcome.
Thank you, Superintendent Mills, and pleasant good morning to all. Always happy to be here, and I look forward to the discussion this morning.
Great. Now, Superintendent Henry, the matter at hand, larceny. There are different types of larcenies out there. Which ones are you focusing on today?
Well, we are focusing this morning on simple larceny, and that is where people carelessly leave their property in plain sight of others without any sort of protection, and then they are stolen by others. So we are dealing this morning specifically with simple larceny, and this is so because this particular category of crime accounts for almost 80% of all reported crimes in the Federation. This is very significant, and that is why we thought it's important that we bring this to the public's attention to raise awareness so that people take more responsibility for their personal property. We're able, as you mentioned earlier, we've been able to see reductions in other categories of crime through our strategies, but it is very difficult for us to do much to prevent someone from taking your phone. For example, if you leave your phone carelessly lying on the top of your car roof while you walk away. And so we want to raise the awareness in the public so that persons take responsibility for the security of their own property to prevent themselves becoming victims. And we would see reduction, hopefully, in this particular category of crime.
Okay, thank you very much. What are the general statistics showing us about these types of offenses?
Right, as I indicated previously, they account for 80%, about 78% to be exact, of all crimes. And this is very, very, very significant. And we cannot have our crime statistics continue to be bloated by crimes that are avoidable if people only take the extra care for their personal property and prevent themselves becoming victims. So these particular crimes account for almost 80% of all the crimes that we investigate. Then
Wow.
we have following that malicious damage, and again, that is also a property crime, and that is for another subject. That's another subject for another discussion. But we want to focus on larcenies. Last year we had a problem with break-ins, house break-ins, and I think we did a good job of raising awareness, and we see people begin to take more precaution in protecting their homes and their properties, hardening their properties. We've seen a proliferation of security cameras, and we want to continue to encourage that because they aid significantly in our investigations. We've been able last year to reach a high of 43% detection, and that is, I would say, largely due to the aid of surveillance cameras. And so we want to continue to encourage the use of these devices in the protection of persons' property.
Okay, 78%, that is really a big figure, really significant, yes. Now, are these crimes concentrated in a particular place, or do they target particular business or individuals?
And that is part of the problem that we have. They're not centralized in any one in any one location. So we cannot say, well, all the larcenies are happening at Port Zante, so let us put more resources at Port Zante to prevent it. That is what makes it so difficult for us. They are scattered throughout the entire country. I'm just looking for my notes here on the areas where we see statistics show. Just to highlight the areas to show you the spread. We have reports. This is just a look of the reports for January. Baker's Corner, Newtown, Sprat Street, Port Zante, Kearn Street, Lozak Road, Nevis Street, Bay Road, Wellington Road, St. Peter's, New Road, Stapleton, Camps, Shadwell Estate, Stonefort Heights, Buckley's, Limekeel, Greenlands, Bird Rock, Southwell Industrial Site, Half Moon Villas. We have in the countryside, Tabernacle, Parsons, Sandy Point, West Farm. Even in Nevis, we see Charlestown, Simmons Estate, Samuel Joseph Street, Zion Village, New Guinea. And so they are spread broadly across the Federation. So nowhere is safe. And so that is why we have to take this strategy to encourage persons, to raise awareness so that persons take personal responsibility. Because the police just cannot do this one alone. We cannot have persons in all of these locations, in every shop, to prevent someone from taking up your property. Right. So we have to get your assistance in this regard to prevent yourselves becoming victims.
I understand. Okay, some of these crimes are preventable, Superintendent Henry, but there are several instances in which the opportunity was created. To better illustrate what that means, can you give some examples of such cases?
Yes, I as I mentioned, I think all of them are avoidable, for that matter. But we know that there will be some instances of it, but we would prefer that the majority be avoided. Just to give some examples of some of the reports that we've had where persons become victims. We had, for example, a report where a person parked his pickup with a trolley that he values about, I think, around $500, a trolley, that a push trolley, in the back of the pickup. And that vehicle was parked there for a couple of hours, well, on an isolated road. And when he returns, park it in the afternoon, returns in the night. When he returns, the trolley was gone. We had instance where a person came home from work with his tools, left his bag on the front step at the front of his yard, went to the back of the yard for several minutes. When he returned, the bag with his tools was gone. And we're talking about power tools, so they cost a good bit. Right. We've had instances where persons would go to a bathroom, leave their phone in the bathroom, a public bathroom, leave their phone in the bathroom, either leave it or forget it, and they would, when they realize a couple of minutes after, and they return, the phone is gone. And so we see a lot of these things. You leave your children's bike or your bicycle on your veranda, leave it there overnight. There's no security at your premises. Next morning, or you leave it during the day when you're going to work, and the next morning the bicycle is gone. You leave your lawnmower in your garage. And these are things that are high value, and you leave them in plain sight with no sort of security, and persons see an opportunity and take the opportunity. So these are just some of the examples. Not to talk about some of the shoplifting that we see. You go into a store and you take up items and you leave the store without paying for them. That also constitutes larceny. And so we see a lot of these type of behavior in persons. They see an opportunity, and very easy, and they take the opportunity. Another thing that we see a lot of is stealing from vehicles. You park your vehicle, you leave the vehicle unlocked, and you leave your laptop bag in the back seat, or you leave your tablet on the back seat, or your phone on the dashboard, or in the front seat, or by the handbrakes. These are valuable items. If people look into your car and seize them, they're going to take them. And we see a lot of that where persons leave valuable items in their vehicles and persons just come and take them out. And sometimes the vehicles are parked in dark and sometimes isolated areas, so there are usually no eyewitnesses around.
Okay. Well, what are some of the key things people need to bear in mind to protect their property?
Well, first of all, you need to have some level of security for your property. if you're going to leave it, ensure that it is secure. It's either locked, attached to something and locked so that it cannot be removed. You have some alarm system in the case of vehicles or even homes. You have some sort of alarm system so that if it is troubled, interfered with, then it would alert and scare away persons. If you have a camera surveillance system that you could have installed, you ensure that there's some surveillance. These are deterrents, because if persons look around and they see a camera pointing at the item that they want to steal, they usually would think twice and not take it. If they would recognize that there is some alarm system, they would usually not interfere with it. So there must be some level of security. The item must either be locked, make it difficult to be removed. Persons will not go to the trouble of trying to remove it. If there's an alarm system, if there's some camera surveillance system, if the area is lighted, persons tend to be deterred by these things. And so we just basically encouraging persons to harden the target, make it more difficult. What we find is that persons are not interested in taking time to get past your security. Whatever security you have, person not taking time to get past that. If you have security, they just move on and leave it. They would easily take those items where they had no level of security.
Tell us about larceny from unattended vehicles. You may have, I think you would have touched on certain things, but just to emphasize, since we would have been getting, a good much of that larceny from unattended vehicle in terms of the prevention.
Yes, as I indicated, if you're going to leave your vehicle and you're going to have items in your vehicle, it is best that you do not leave these items in plain sight. You should not look into your vehicle and see your laptop in the back seat. If you must leave your laptop in the car, put it in the trunk. Lock your car. Make sure your car is parked in a busy area, a populated area. Do not park your car on some isolated road. You go on the beach and you park your car in the bush and you go on in the sea, and your car is open. Things are exposed. So lock your vehicles. Park it in areas that are populated, not isolated. In the night, choose areas that are lighted. Do not keep valuables in your car. If you cannot put it in your trunk, then do not leave it in your car. And these are some of the basic things that would deter persons. Have an alarm system on your vehicle. Again, this deters. If you touch the car makes a sound. People are not going to bother to go and interrupt.
For the most part.
For the most part, right. And that has been an experience. There's some bold persons who are going to take the chance still. But again, they would take that chance if it depends on the situation. If the vehicle is in an isolated area and they know that nobody going to get here just now, they will going to take the chance. If they see something that is of value. Again, if they do not see anything, they will not take the chance to go through all that trouble and they're not certain if they're going to get anything. So reduce the opportunities. Reduce the temptation, remove the temptations, and hopefully you should prevent yourself from becoming victims.
Okay, well, Superintendent Henry, you've been speaking quite a bit for the morning, and I'm sure that there are listeners outside there willing to call in with their questions, so we pause at this time.
Hold on, stop. Think about the drink before you take a drop. Read up on the label on the back. They say science sugar low in fat, but don't be fooled by that. Drink some water, share some love. Tell your body you're sweet enough. Drink some water, share some love. Tell somebody you're sweet enough. Drink some water, share some love. Tell your body you're sweet enough. Drink some water, share some love. Tell somebody, hey.
This message is brought to you by Lake Health and Wellbeing.
Hello, congratulations, you've just won $50,000. St. Kitts and Nevis, it's your time. Win the grand prize of $50,000 in Digicel's Prime Plus 50K jackpot. It could be you. All you have to do is purchase a Prime Plus bundle in the My Digicel app between February 25th and April 8th, and you're entered to win the grand prize of $50,000, second place prize $15,000, or third place prize of $5,000. Plus, win cash, an iPad, shopping spree, and 1 year free data. Remember, purchase a Prime Plus bundle in the My Digicel app to enter. The Prime Plus 50K jackpot is on with Digicel. Digicel, better together.
Experience the value. Get the cable's value bundle today. Internet, Ultra TV, free HBO Max, and a free Cable Platinum Loyalty MasterCard for only $157 monthly. Feel the thrill of 74 channels of Ultra TV. Feel the rush of the cable's 35 megabyte Bolt Internet. Maximum streaming entertainment is free with HBO Max and the ultra convenience of the Platinum Loyalty MasterCard. Shop, save, share, and don't forget, get a free internet upgrade when you pay your cable bills with Platinum Loyalty MasterCard. Not a cable customer? Sign up today and get more out of your internet, TV, shopping, and payment experience. The cable's value bundle, Ultra TV, internet, free HBO Max, and Platinum Loyalty MasterCard at $250 value for only $157 per month. Call the cable 465-2588 and come experience the value.
Okay.
Okay, good morning to our listeners. The number to call is 465-2555. That's our local number. And our exchange number is 718-577-2916.
Yes, good morning. You're live.
Yes, good morning, Major General GQ.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, and good morning, Mr. Henry and the lady, woman police there.
Superintendent
Good morning.
Mills.
Yes, Superintendent Henry.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
And the general police lady there.
Good morning, sir.
Now, I heard you speak about larceny. And whether it is small larceny or big larceny. Now, my question and solution. Now, if Mr. Henry will his car to GQ, do you think I have any right to go and falsify the will that you will your car to GQ? No, I consider that, and according to how you were speaking, that is larceny. Well, I'm going to come back with the penalty for them there. And now, if the lady police there lock her car with her possession in her car, she alone has the keys for her car, and I go and break in her car and take out her things. Now, you know what the problem and the solution? When I take out the things, I have a market to sell them. And also, I have no right in her car. So now here is it now. The penalty for me breaking in her car for the buyer, and I am the seller, the penalty should be so big, Pamonku size big, if I could use the word, that I will tell others not to do it, because the penalty is not easy. The penalty is a consequence that nobody at all will like. And then for the fraudulent act of changing the will that come from you to GQ, for whatever it is, that their penalty should even higher than the person who break in the vehicle. And the problem is that the penalties are so lenient that nobody taking these penalties serious. So the penalties need to step up. Thank you, gentlemen, for listening. I'll continue to listen.
Thank you very much, caller.
Thank you.
Okay,
Right.
Yes.
Well,
Sorry, you have another call. Sorry, you have another call.
Okay, go ahead. We take the other call.
Yes, good morning. You're live.
Good morning. Good morning. You can hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
You can hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Yes, a good program, but I want to find out if the cameras in Macna is not working, because I did not hear you call about them. because my son had a bus park in Pines Avenue in front of a camera and they mashed the glass. Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
We have another call. Good morning, your life.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
No, I was just calling in just to say, right? The lady that was on a while ago, she make a mistake and she was calling Win FM station instead of ZZ. So I was listening them station and then I heard what they doing. They're laughing after the lady and saying, oh, this station, this is not ZZ station and going on. I say, what is that? All they could have said, Miss, you have to make a mistake, you know? This is not ZZ, this is Win FM station. And they're laughing after the lady and going on and getting on. That is just what I called to say, you know?
Okay, I understand. It's,
on, you know what I mean? Just say it's a mistake that the lady make, okay?
All right, man.
Yes.
All right, I understand your concern. We'll take another call. Good morning. Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Hi, morning.
Morning, ma'am.
Well, this is what I said.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Superintendent Henry, right?
Yes.
Superintendent Henry, good topic this morning. I have a problem over these past years, and I can't get it solved. Because this girl coming from all the way to, she used to live here with me now. To my son, she used to live here. And she always breaking in my house. Like coming in, checking up my clothes, checking me ready to open the fridge. Me working now, I retired 4 years now. And I can't take it no longer. Up to Saturday, I had to go to the station. Because I'm checking up my clothes and she cut them up and bowing up my underwears and them. When she did that, she running me naked. I can't take him a call in already here and the police said, with you, I think it's Superintendent Eddie had given me the number. You know. So go to the station, I go. When I go, she's still coming doing the same thing. I go to a lawyer, the writer, she's still doing the same. So already, you know, that's before she got to Trinidad with she child. By midnight, I was sleeping, but the dog in the yard waking up. I didn't dress to go outside. So I went back inside, put on my clothes. Something I see she leaping to the abandoned land down there. When she to the foot of the land, she pulled she just from under the wire. Hook she closed. I said, okay, then she go. Me ain't going behind her. I just got up my bed and me going behind her. I didn't went to the station. I was scooping her. But since I may see her come back, but I'll turn me back up this train if I go by anything. I don't show be anywhere around and I don't see her. I come in, she got me things then. She take them up.
I think we get the point. This lady is a friend of yours, or you someone that frequents your house?
She's not a friend of mine. Superintendent, she still lives here with my son. My son has a child with her, right?
Son, ex-girlfriend.
And that is years ago. No. So it's years ago now
she's familiar with you?
Huh?
So she's familiar with you and continue to come by your house and take...
From a long time.
From long time.
That's she still lives here with us.
So when was the last time she came? When was the last time she came?
The last time she came? Man, she was in here Friday night. I went up with a bottle of water. I come back. I had a good brazier on top.
When was that?
Up to now, looking for the brazier can't be found.
You say she was there as recent as Friday?
Yeah, Friday night she near Torrent Station Saturday morning for her.
Your son still live with you?
Yeah, still live here still. He's working for
your son asked her not to come back there?
Superintendent, the boy look like he's a coward. He don't want to know how to get in there and the door locked.
Okay. Come by the station later this morning and ask for me.
Ask for you later this morning?
Yes. After the show? Come by the station and ask for me.
Alright. I live in the alley, right? So you gotta wait because
okay, well, no problem. Come during the course of the day. Whenever you get a chance, come and ask for me.
Alright, Superintendent.
Thank you.
Officer Henry, right?
Yes, Henry, yes. Superintendent Henry.
So whenever you are, whenever I catch you, I think, because I didn't call to Superintendent Rogers when he's there already, you know. So if he has been harassed with this guy,
Okay,
me do them.
Come and see me today. We'll try and address that issue for you.
All right, Superintendent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to all our callers thus far. So,
4 calls.
the calls.
Yes, let's take the calls and
Yes.
then we'll answer. We are making notes and we'll answer the calls after.
Yes, good morning, you're live.
Yeah, good morning, GQ.
Good morning, Jamdo.
And good morning, Superintendent Henry.
Yes, Jamdo.
And my good superintendent friend.
Good morning.
Lady
sir.
friend, how are you? Good morning.
Doing wonderful.
I want to briefly big up Miss Marshall for the science that she bringing to the police force.
Yes.
We have heard a lot like it. And I recognize what she's doing because ASP Hanley and others, Jefferson Brooks, all them boys, Meredith, Stafford Leibert, all of them really endorsed that woman. You could imagine the other day, Mr. Henry, I come in somewhere meet her in the old care. Such an important person like her. You know, helping us with the science. And as she tried to get the car started, the car ain't working, die for her. Because me see men all over good vehicles and they ain't bringing nothing to the setup, you know.
Jam, that's a long time. She has a good
We
vehicle.
want a team.
Jam, that's a long time.
We want to working as a team. And the next thing I want to talk about, he got some spoiled eggs in there trying to disrespect her. And they don't work here in me, you know. Because she could have leave here and deal with battling up and man up and you know. And she chose to come down here when she was contacted. And whoever is Petty and the Prime Minister bring up, she is doing a great job. And she putting us where we should be. And I'm warning them to support her because they're going to hear me. Man, I nothing against her, you know. But when I hear the nonsense, I can talk. This is just down here, you know, Mr. Henry.
Yes, sir.
Have a good day.
Thank you,
great
you too.
topic.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jam Down.
All right, we have another call.
Another call.
We have 2 more calls, right?
Yes, let's take them.
Hi, good morning. Yes, you're live. Go ahead. All right, let's try the other call. Hi, good morning. You're live.
Well, good morning.
Well,
And how are you?
I'm doing great, man.
Good morning to the both Superintendent Mills and Superintendent.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, as usual, it's a great program. And what I like at least the explanation of simply larceny. And the thing about it, sometimes we in the general public, we we take a lot of things for granted. Because, for example, persons have to realize we are in a different era. So you can't just put down things any old how, because some person out there, they are criminal minded and they will use the opportunity. And one thing I advise persons is to do not use the same routine over and over. Change up your routine. Some person not supposed to know exactly, you know what I mean, which way you're going to every day. You have to just change up your routine. And a lot of the problem for certain persons, where they are living around a lot of bushes. So persons out there are going to realize you're living in this area where it is not well lit. And that in itself is an opportunity right there. And even these vehicles, you have to be so careful. Because if you have a patch vehicle and you have all kind of different things inside, person going to use the opportunity at any time, given time. Sometimes it's not you're just careless, but sometimes you just forget, maybe for whatever reason you're making a quick run and you forget to maybe lock your vehicle at the same time, not thinking that somebody's out there watching you. So all of these things person have to take in mind. And the lady who just called a while ago, it was rather strange that she's saying that the person is coming and taking out her things all the time because they used to live there. My advice is to her is to change the locks. Because I found it rather strange that this person is coming in your house. The person used to live there. If they're not living there and you're having that problem, simply change the locks. If you're changing the locks and then the person is still coming, something is definitely wrong. So, but as usual, I will continue to listen and thanks again for at least advising us and giving us the education in relation to how we can protect ourselves going forward and certain things we can do to eliminate some of the problems we are facing. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. What I will do, Superintendent Mills, we have 3 more calls. I will take those next 3 and then I'll let you address the calls.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, we lost that one. Let's try this one. We lost that one too. Hi, good morning.
Hey, GQ, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Sonny Boy.
This Sonny Boy calling you from New York. I just heard my brother on the phone, jammed up. But I have a question for Officer Cromwell. He did a good job on the COVID line. I watched him on COVID, how he addressed the law and with the public. Tell him I'm going to nominate him for the new commissioner.
Thank you, sir.
And GQ.
Yes,
GQ.
sir. Yes, sir.
That inspector, the lady,
Yes.
Superintendent.
she's very beautiful, but I'm too old. So my question is for Officer Cromwell. What's the difference between larceny and grand larceny?
All right. Thank you for your call.
Grand larceny is a U.S. It's a U.S.
Yeah, we
It's a
don't have
U.S.
that too.
It's a U.S. offense. We do not have that particular offense here. So we just larceny and different forms of larceny, but there is no.
Okay, because in New York, in America, larceny is a misdemeanor or a felony. Depends on the value of the stuff you steal. That's why I asked you that question.
Well, yes. In terms of that, what we call simple larceny would be those larcenies triable by a magistrate court. But I think what you're speaking about would be those that are triable by the High Court. Matters involving over $20,000 worth.
Exactly, you're right.
But we do not refer to it as grand larceny, so maybe there's a difference in terms. It's still larceny. The smaller ones, we call them simple larceny, and those that go to the High Court, we just call it larceny. So I guess we distinguish them by calling them simple larceny and larceny, and maybe in the US you add grand larceny for the more serious ones.
So, okay, hopefully, Inspector Cromwell, I hope one day you'll be commissioner, because you're very good. I heard you're the task force for COVID.
Thank you, sir.
All right, GQ, nice talking to you from New York City.
All right, Sonny boy.
Thank you very much.
All right, boy. All right, so we'll take these next two calls, and then that'll be it for calls. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Superintendent, this is lady calling back. What time must I come over by the station? Tell me the time.
Come around 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay.
All right, so that's going to do it for us. We don't have any more calls. Superintendent Mills, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much to all our callers. One caller was asking about the penalty in these kind of crimes. Can you speak to that, Superintendent Henry?
Ms. Mills, I'm certain that you're more versed as a former prosecutor, former investigator of these matters. You'll be more afraid with the penalties. So maybe you could help us out with the answer for that one.
With the penalties in relation
larceny,
to the simple larceny and the
High Court larceny.
The High Court larceny. We'll come back to that. We move on to the cameras.
But I think someone was asking about if somebody fraudulently take a vehicle from someone else by falsifying a will or something.
Yes.
Well, that would be a form of larceny. But as I mentioned, there are different forms, different types of larceny. It could be committed in different ways. But we are dealing with the more prevalent ones. That type of larceny where you falsify a will and deprive someone from property as a result. Those are not as prevalent as what we are talking about this morning. What we are talking about, as I said, accounts for 78%. So maybe that particular type of larceny is very rare and it's not at all a problem for us at this time. And so the penalty for that, I'm certain, it's severe enough to be a deterrent, but it is not a problem for us, at least not at this time in the Federation. And hence we are focusing on the simple larceny, where people lose their cell phone. One of the things that some of the items that are very much targeted are electronic items, cell phones, television, cell phones in particular, tablets, these small consumer items, PlayStations, laptops, bicycles. These are high value items that are small enough to be taken easily, and so we want you to pay particular attention. One of the things that you should always do as well, just as an added measure, just in case the worst happen, is to have your items marked. Ensure that you take the serial numbers from electronic items, and if you could place a mark somewhere and engrave your initials in the back of it or inside the cover, someplace on the item, so that you can identify it. Just in case it is stolen and recovered, it makes it easy for the investigators to identify the item and place it as your item, so that we have an easier time in showing to the court that this is the item that belongs to this person that you stole. So mark your items, take serial numbers, because no two items should have the same serial number, and so that is a good way of assisting police in the investigation should the worst happen. I think Jamdown also spoke about give high commendation for Miss Marshall,
yes,
and her work at the crime scene. And yes, we want to associate ourselves with the contribution that she makes. Her unit is very much involved in assisting the investigation in terms of lifting fingerprints from scenes. And on the previous show, she would have indicated some of the successes that they've had. And as I mentioned earlier, we've had a very high detection rate last year. Our detection rate is continue to go up, and this is as a result of our use of science in the case of Miss Marshall's unit, and technology in the case of our surveillance system. We have a network of cameras that covers most of Bastia, and there is a second phase that is currently in progress, where the country area are seeing coverage through surveillance cameras along the Island Main Road and the roads within the villages. Someone called about McKnight, if the cameras in McKnight are working. Yes, the cameras in McKnight are working, but we know these items, like any other mechanical or electrical item, from time to time they would go down for various reasons. We are in the process of upgrading the system. We are moving away from the wireless network. We are now using fiber optic in some areas. We eventually have fiber optic in most areas. We see telephone companies are right now putting fiber optics around the island and in various parts of Bastia. And so we are piggybacking on that fiber optic network that is being installed. And so that would improve the transmission of data from our cameras back to headquarters. So we'll get better quality and we'll be assured of greater uptime for these systems that we have. So we are really working up towards ensuring that we're able to detect, and the technology and science is working for us.
Also, somebody specifically asked about cameras in the McKnight area.
I did mention that they are working, but like I say, the lady indicated that someone had their vehicle damaged and the camera was there and it wasn't any help. If that was so, it probably at the time the camera happened to be down. As I say, from time to time they go down for one reason or the other. It could be power related, it could be transmission related, but we are upgrading the system so that we have less downtime, so that we could assure that once a crime is committed within the area of coverage, we should be able to detect something.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Superintendent Henry, for enlightening us with all that information pertaining to simple larceny. Now, I think we're about to wrap up at this time. So, in wrapping up, I just wish to say that it is very hard when people would go out there to work and sweat and, would get what their earnings and buy stuff, and when you put them down and people would just come and take them. So that's why we want you to understand the importance of doing all that you can to prevent this from happening. And I also wish to speak to the would-be stealers, the persons who would go to try to steal from persons. I know that the saying is very true: whatever you sow, you would reap. And sometimes persons who do these things, when something similar turns back, you really can't stand it. And so it is not a good thing to be doing this, because it will come back at some point. Karma is there and it would come back. So I wish to bring to you a better way. There is a better way. And in saying that, I just want to share a quick illustration with you. One time I was sent overseas to represent the organization with some other police officers from other areas and bankers. And there I went into a store and I bought an item, and I paid with a $100 traveler check. And the person gave me back too much change, because there is a Larceny called Larceny by mistake on the part of the owner, with you having the understanding and hold on to it. And you know, I realized that it was too much and I was about to give it back, but when the banker checked, she said no, it's okay. And I said okay, she's the banker, so I left it. And we left and we walked a good way, and in walking, it's like the Spirit of the Lord just really brought it back to me and showed me where the mistake was. The individual in the store would have mistaken the 100 travelers check for £100, for, you know, £100, and you know that is more. So the change would have been given back in relation to that, which was a good much more. And you know, the lady asked me what I would do. I said we have to go back, and we walk all the way back to give it back. And as a result of that, I was able to just see some, you know, it's like the heavens were open, and it was blessings after blessings because of that. I share that to say that there is always a better way. You know, there is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof is a way of death. Meaning if you're going to steal, something similar and worse will come back to you. But if you go out your way to do the good thing, to give back, even when somebody make a mistake, to give back, that good thing will come back to you, and it will come back in abundance. So I'm just bringing to you that better way. Let's practice that better way as a community, as a nation. I know that the power lies in you, and we are better than sometimes what we give out. So I just encourage us all to be that way. Superintendent Henry, any closing remarks?
Yes, so that is another form of larceny you just highlighted, Miss Mills. Larceny by mistake. If you go to the store and you purchase something and they give you back too much change, and you accept or you keep the excess amount, and that person realizes later that, hey, I gave that person back too much change and she did not return it, you really could be prosecuted for that if you keep that excess amount that you got, even though it was given to you. You knew that you're not entitled to it. You gave $100, you're supposed to get back $80 in change, but you get back $200 change. You know that that excess doesn't belong to you. If you keep it, it's larceny. If you go down the road and you find something and you keep it, and the owner comes later and you are found with that item, it is larceny as well. Larceny by finding. If you find something, you are to take steps to find out who's the owner. And if you cannot find out who's the owner, then you take it to the police station. Some people take it to a radio station and try to have the announcer announce that this item was found. That is what you're supposed to do if you find something of value. You do not keep it. We used to have a saying, finders keepers. Well, that doesn't work. It is larceny if you keep that item that you found, because it has an owner, and if you keep it, you intend to deprive the owner. And so if you are caught with it, you will be prosecuted for larceny. So those are some other forms of larceny, and we hope that you would try avoid becoming either victim or being an accomplice or a suspect or a person who is charged in committing that particular offense. We want to thank you all for listening, those who participated in the program this morning. I hope that we would have raised the awareness in persons to take greater care of your property, knowing that there are persons out there who are waiting for an opportunity to take your belonging, and it happens too often. We really have to devote an entire program to this, because it is causing our crime statistics to look as if things are really out of control in terms of crime in the Federation. So we want persons to prevent themselves becoming victim, take all the precautions, all the recommendations that we've made. In closing, I just want to say the government has removed taxes, import taxes on surveillance cameras, security cameras. So we want persons to take advantage of that opportunity and ensure that your property is covered with cameras, and ensure that your items that you're moving about with is properly protected. I want you to have an enjoyable day, and stay safe. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Tell me what you know about love. Tell me what you know about hate that keeps us separated. Tell me what you think about equal rights for all in every way. Say what you think, what you think, what you think, what you think about justice. What you know, what you know, what you know, what you know about love. Why all the segregation? We all are but one nation. Oh, let us unite as one. Let us unite as one.
At Nature's Discount, the herbal store on 4th Street, we provide herbal supplements for all your needs. Blood sugar, blood pressure, prostate, liver, heart, kidney, and more. Oils, pure herbal teas, wholesome vitamins, healthy foods, alkaline water, bodybuilding